Hey everybody, this is Eric Messer of Messer Media. I'm here today with Chris Carter from Talking Circles with Chris Carter. We're here at historic Bowman Gray Stadium for the season finale of Bowman Gray Stadium race in the Ag South Farm Credit 150. We're going to crown all 4 of our champions tonight in the modified, the Sportsman, Street Stock, and Stadium Stock divisions. And we're here to give our opinions, if you care about that, on who's going to win tonight's races.
They care. Absolutely, they care, Messer.
Perfect. Let's just start right at the beginning, the modified division.
Yes, sir.
Burt Myers has had a stout year. I know he hasn't won a championship since 2019, but he has to finish 7th or better to clinch his 11th modified championship. Brandon Ward has to finish 7 positions ahead of Burt Myers to claim his 2nd championship in a row. Chris Fleming has to finish 4 points ahead of Brandon Ward and 10 positions ahead of Burt Myers to win his championship. And Tim Brown, he's still in the running. He has to finish 14 positions ahead of Chris Fleming, 18 ahead of Brandon Ward, and 24 ahead of Burt Myers to win his 13th championship.
Burt Myers, 96 wins this season at the Madhouse. Tim Brown, he has 101 victories. Tim Brown, you can never count him out. I know it's actually mathematically able to be done, but let's talk about Chris Fleming real quick. This morning on Facebook, never count me out with the emoji, the muscle emoji. So with that being said, he hadn't won a race this year all year. And then you got Brandon Ward, the defending champion, only 26 points out, as you just said, Messer. So, man, this is going to be tight. They're going to have 150 laps. You know, you want to know, what is the mindset going in? Burt Myers has had a very fast race car every race. He's had a few incidents. But when he's had an incident, he went back right there to his pit area. He's come out not losing laps, and he's come out and just as competitive with damage on that #1 modified.
Right, and they both, Burt Myers and Brandon Ward, have collected 5 wins this season together.
Yes.
And Brandon, he's the defending champion. He's also one of only 3 drivers to defeat Burt and Tim Brown.
Right. Yes.
For the championship since 1996. Can you
wow.
believe that, Chris Carter?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's crazy, but it's wow. Yeah.
Perfect. So, I think it's too far away for Burt. I don't think he's going to finish 7th or behind. I think he's going to take this. I think he's going to take his 11th championship tonight.
I'm picking up what you're laying down, Messer, but I am going to go with the Q104.1. Kevin says, yes, modified of Brandon Ward. I think Brandon Ward has that mindset. I think that Brandon Ward can do what he needs to do to win this championship. I'm going to go with Brandon Ward as a modified champion back-to-back for this year.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the law offices of John Barrow Sportsman Series, the most hotly contested points race we have seen this year. It's also the most hotly contested point race in the NASCAR Southeast Division as well.
Yes.
Only 4 points separate Zach Orr and Chase Robertson. Both of them have had a very stout year. Chase Robertson's had his struggles. Zach Orr has had his struggles late. But Zach Orr has to finish 1st or 2nd to clinch his 1st championship here tonight. Chase Robertson, he has to finish 2 positions ahead of Zach Orr. If Chase wins the race and Zach Orr finishes 2nd, Zach Orr will win the championship based off the tiebreaker.
Well, Chase Robertson, he is the defending champion. And Chase seems more like a cool, calm, collective young man this year. Chase just turned 20 years old, as you know. But I'm going to talk about Zach Orr real quick. And I'm going to tell you what, Zach Orr, at the beginning of the year, he told me, yourself, and all of us on my podcast, he said, Chris, I'm going to keep a level head. Oh, yeah, Zach? Well, we're going to see if this is true at the end of the year. He's done it. He's done what he's needed to do. And I'm telling you, he has been on a rail. And the little blemishes that he's had has been few and far between. So, Messer, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Don't get mad. I know you love Chase as I do too. But Zach Orr, he'll be your 2024 Sportsman champion at the end of the night.
Zach Orr has had a great year. He's had a level head on him. You got to have that to win a championship here at Bowman Gray. I know they call it the Madhouse, but if you're going to win championships here, you have to have a level head. You got to stay cool, calm, collected, and you got to stay out of trouble. Chase Robertson, I've been at the shop this week. They have had a great attitude. Yeah. I mean, I talked with Mike Robertson last year. We all know he was a nutcase last year.
He still is.
He still is.
That hasn't changed.
But he couldn't sleep last year. None of them could sleep. They were stressed out trying to get this 1st championship for Chase. This year, different mindset. They're in the shop joking around.
Different mindset.
Whatever happens, happens. That is a great attitude to bring to this championship race. It's a great attitude to bring to this 40-lapper. Chase is really good on these 40-lappers here. I know I'm a little biased. I'm going to have to go with Chase Robertson tonight.
Let's also throw this in. For those of you that do not know, these drivers, they normally race 2 20-lap events, okay? So tonight, they get a 40-lap race, one 40-lap race. but they don't get to qualify like the modifieds do. They have to reach into a bag and pull out a number. So that's not a big deal to me because they got those 40 laps. So let's just say that both drivers, now listen, every race for the last 7 races, they've been connected at the hip. It's like Velcro. Where you see Chase, you see Zach Orr. Where you see Zach Orr, you see Chase. So I don't expect nothing different. So whether they're up front or whether they draw in the back together or whether one's in the front, one's in the back, Messer, by lap 20, they will be together. I promise you that.
And the only wild card that we're going to see tonight is the restart cone as well.
Yes. That's a big deal too.
That's a big deal.
That's an advantage for both drivers.
But we also got to talk about the guys that are still in the championship hunt as well. So Sterling Plemons, he's still automatically in.
Yes, he's had a good year.
He's got to finish 13 positions ahead of Chase Robinson and 15 positions ahead of Zach Orr. Connor Branch, he has had an amazing year.
17 years old, people, and I'm going to tell you what, that young man has a very bright future. Remember, y'all remember, Connor Branch, within the next 3 years, he will be a Sportsman champion.
He's got to finish 8 positions ahead of Sterling Plemons, 20 ahead of Chase Robinson, and 22 ahead of Zach Orr to win this championship. And Michael Adams, he's had a tough year, but he is still mathematically in the running for the championship here. He's got to finish 1 ahead of Connor Branch.
Veteran.
That's right. He's got to finish 1 position ahead of Connor Branch, 8 ahead of Sterling Plemons, 21 ahead of Chase Robinson, and 22 ahead of Zach Orr. I think I'm going to stick with my picks, though.
I'm going to stick with mine. I'm going with Zach.
Let's move on to the QRC HVAC and Refrigeration Street Stock Series.
Yeah.
Always an exciting series here. Christian Joyce, he's kind of ran away with this year, but he's had him and Brad Lewis, who right behind him, they've had some bad luck in the past couple of weeks.
Well, what's happened here is when Christian's had a bad race or bad luck, so has Brad. So Brad's not been able to take advantage of Christian Joyce's bad lucks this year, Eric. And so with that being said, when Christian has something go wrong, almost like Brad does too. So Brad's just not been able to capitalize on a situation when I feel like that he should have been able to pick up some valuable points, which he hasn't been able to do. Now, I'm not saying it's over for Brad Lewis, but at the end of the day, that Christian Joyce, man, he is on a rail. And I had the other night on the podcast, his wife actually put in the comments that she feels like that Christian's married to Dylan Ward this week. So he's been working hard. He's been at that shop with Dylan Ward. So they've been working their behinds off. But let's not take nothing away from Brad Lewis. Such a good guy. And Brad's had a really great year. And once again, and he's a class act. But I just feel like, Messer, I feel like this is Christian Joyce's championship to win.
That's right. Kevin Gilbert is also still in the run. He has finished 5 positions ahead of Brad Lewis and 15 positions ahead of Christian Joyce. Andy Southern, he's had a great year. He has to finish 1 position ahead of Kevin Gilbert, 5 ahead of Brad, and 14 ahead of Christian. And Nick Wall, he got his first win. He's got his first win this year, and he's won one last week as well.
He's got 2 wins this year, yeah.
He has to finish 5 positions ahead of Andy Southern, 4 ahead of Kevin Gilbert, 9 ahead of Brad Lewis, and 19 ahead of Christian Joyce. Personally, I think, barring anything catastrophic happening, such as we saw last week, I think Christian Joyce goes back-to-back.
So we're on the same page?
We're on the same page.
Well, I'll be doggone. But you know what? Real quick, I do want to say this. Kevin K. Train Gilbert, bad luck last week, first lap. Man, destroyed the car. A lot of people's reached out to him. It looks like I seen his trailer when me and you pulled in earlier. He's going to be here tonight, and I just want K-Train to get him a win, man. He is so deserving of it. Not that nobody else is. Let's not misunderstand what I'm saying here, people. But at the end of the day, I really like, K-Train has over 190 starts here at the Madhouse without a win, and he's so deserving of it. So I'd love to see him get a win last race of this season.
All right, Chris, let's move on to the Q1041 Stadium Stock Series. AJ Sanders has ran away with it this year.
Oh, yeah.
He is 64 points ahead of the rookie.
Are you surprised?
I'm not. This will be his 3rd championship in a row if he's able to get it done tonight. He's managed to get himself a 64-point lead over rookie Connor Keaton. Chuck Wall, unfortunately, he's had a tough year, but he is still in the running. So AJ has finished 17th or better to win his 3rd championship in a row, his 5th championship. Connor Keaton has finished 17 positions ahead of AJ Sanders to win his 1st championship. Chuck Wall has to finish 1 ahead of Connor Keaton and 18 positions ahead of AJ Sanders to win his 5th championship. Tyler McDonald, he's had a great year as well.
Yes.
He has to finish 4 positions ahead of Chuck Wall, 5 ahead of Connor Keaton, and 21 ahead of AJ Sanders. And Brad Michalowski, he's also had a great year.
Yes,
he is still mathematically in the running, but unfortunately, once he takes the green flag tonight, he's going to be out. He's out of it.
He's done.
So what are your thoughts going with the Stadium Stock Series?
Well, the veteran AJ Sanders, and also Chuck Wall is just as much as a veteran, not only at this racetrack, but numerous racetracks in the Southeast. Chuck Wall, early in the season, had some very bad luck. And I talk about destroying a race car. He destroyed a race car, either the 1st or the 2nd, maybe even the 3rd race. I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, man, he's had bad luck. But Chuck Wall, man, a lot of victories here going around this football field. You can't count him out, but the odds just don't seem to be in his favor. Kudos to Connor Keaton, even his brother Grayson. They've had a great year, but I'm with you, Eric. I just can't see A.J. Sanders. He can get out here and ride around, and he's so good here. So there's no way A.J. Sanders is not your 2024 Stadium Stock champion.
Yeah, Chuck Wall had some bad luck earlier in the year. He had that really bad wreck that tore up the front end of his car. I think if Chuck hadn't had that wreck, this has been such a close. This has been where
we were talking like we're talking about Chase and Zach.
That's right.
No doubt about it.
That's right. So this will be AJ's 5th championship, 3rd in a row. Only people he would join Kenny Bose and Chuck Wall as the only Stadium Stock drivers to win 3 in a row. So again, unless anything catastrophic happens, I think it's going to be A.J. Sanders tonight as well.
I'm going to agree with you. We've agreed on 2 divisions and the same thing. That's hard to believe, Messer, but we did. You just, like I just said earlier, you cannot count out A.J. Sanders.
And it's been and the Stadium Stocks have had a really great season as well. The Keatons have been on a tear this year. It's Sydney Sanders, she's put on a great show as well.
Let's please, my co-host on Talking Circles with Chris Carter, Sydney Sanders. You know, that is A.J. Sanders' daughter-in-law, Steven Sanders' wife, and she has made leaps and bounds this year. I'm so proud of her, and I love watching her race. I'm just really, once again, I'm proud of her and what she's done, and next year I expect her to get a win, no doubt about it.
All right, everybody, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Come on out tonight for the Ag South Farm Credit 150 here at Bowman Gray Stadium and help us crown a few champions. You can also watch live on Flow Racing tonight at 8 p.m. And also visit NASCARclash.com. Reservations are open. That's right.
The Clash is coming.
Be here in February. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. See y'all tonight.